Road trips. Who doesn't love them? People with motion sickness? Roadkill? The bug that got trapped in our car one summer? I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of road trips, just that I prefer being snuggled up in my room and never see the light of day. My family rarely ever goes on trips, so it's a pretty big deal when we do go on one, which means I feel obligated to go since I never know when the next one will be. And a few winters back, I did. Once upon a December, we were going to drive down to the land of non-stop rain and theme parks and stay there to celebrate New Year's. The ones who would be going on this trip would be my mother, her man, some twit, and my brother. We had planned this attendee list months in advance, but my brother backed out of the trip a week before we were supposed to go. There wasn't really anyone else in the family who could make it on such short notice, so I started asking some friends I had at the time. Eventually, I was able to fill the spot with a friend named Twix. His family and mine were pretty close, so my elders had no problem bringing him along. On Christmas Day, we set out on our 2-day journey to Florida. Little did we know about the circumstances we would find ourselves in. No one died, I think. Day 1 of the journey went as expected, staring at the window for hours on end, gas station pit stops, and getting motion sick from all the Pokemon I was playing. I am a complete addict when it comes to technology, so I had one bag dedicated to all of my entertainment resting on my lap. Sure, it was heavy, but it was worth it. A year later, I would regret bringing all the technology I owned on trips. That's a story for another day, though. Anyway, it was getting dark and the man was getting tired. I proceeded to take the wheel and drove us straight into the ocean, killing we pulled into a motel for the night. I, for one, was out like a light, and sleeping behind the wheel is frowned upon in society. Now, one thing my father always told me while growing up was to stay away from motels. He never said why, but I still felt a sense of unease as I woke up and realized where we were. Lurking around the area, there were a few smokers, but they were just chilling. There was a pair of pants on the sidewalk, though. After parking the car, the man went to the front desk and came back with our room key. It was only one night, so we chose to leave most of our stuff in the car, except for the essentials, like some change of clothes and toiletries. Though, me being me, I brought my 600-pound bag into the motel since I planned to stay up late and play games. Inspired, Twix also brought his essentials into the motel. His PlayStation looked quite out of place in the room. Speaking of which, it was exactly how I imagined a motel room to be, but wasn't much different from how it looked back home. After settling in, we went to a nearby gas station and grabbed some snacks. I grabbed some Airheads and candy and started to walk out of the store. It wasn't until then that I noticed a brightly colored can sitting in one of the mini fridges. I never tried an energy drink before, but curiosity won me over and I bought one. When we arrived back at the motel, the 5-minute gas station trip had really tired me out, so I knocked out almost immediately. The energy drink really didn't do much. Twix, on the other hand, stayed up for a couple more hours to play on his PlayStation. At some random point in the night, I woke up. I don't remember why, but I just did. It was maybe 2 in the morning when I started hearing noises outside. Everyone else in the room was asleep, but outside I heard shouting and maybe some scuffling. I was still half asleep, but I could make out some sort of light seeping in through the window. After all this, I couldn't shake the feeling of drowsiness and went back to sleep. I was the last person to wake up the next morning, and what a strange morning it was. My mother was running around the room, her man wasn't even present, and Twix was sitting silently on his bed. I thought I was still dreaming, so I went back to sleep. My mother was not having it and got me out of bed. I asked where her man was, and she said the cat is hissing. Wait, sorry, I heard that wrong.
The car is missing.
What? How does a car go missing? It's not like they have a mind of their own and just drive away.
Someone stole it.
Oh, okay, didn't have to go that far. Clearly, my mom was stressed out since a good chunk of our belongings were inside the car. Things got real when I realized I left my headphones in the car. But, if you remember what I had said previously, I had 2 bags. One filled with my electronics and the other with my toiletries. The latter was in the car. Thankfully! I can't imagine what it would have been like to lose all that stuff. I wasn't exaggerating when I said I brought all my technology along. My mother was not tech-obsessed, so she lost everything she brought except for her phone and her little purse. Twix was about the same as me, except he only brought his PlayStation. The rest of his tech and clothing were still in the car. The one who lost the most, though, was the man, since it was his car! Plus, he brought nothing into the motel. This whole time, he was at the front desk trying to explain the situation. In that state, we couldn't really do much except wait for him to come back. Once he did, he didn't have any good news to tell us. Well, are we just stuck here, then? Yep! The end. After we accepted the fact that we would never leave, we began to assimilate to Southern culture. Twix coped by indulging in all the fried chicken from Bojangles until he exploded. Not from the chicken. Mother and her man took up work at a farm nearby, and the owners graciously let us stay there. Though, the pigs on the farm were looking at me weird, so I ran away to an elderly couple's home. There, I learned how to shoot trespassers and bake mac and cheese until I was shunned out of the house for pronouncing pecan wrong. They kicked me into next year, and I don't know what to do here. Please send help. Of course, that didn't actually happen. With no car, we boiled our situation down to 3 options. 1, call the police so they can investigate. 2, take the train home. 3, cancel our reservations. I just realized that was more of a to-do list. Having this trip be the first in years, I was pretty bummed out to cancel our plans. Normally, we would go to a hotel, but this time we decided to reserve a lakeside house. I was living in a basement at the time, so staying in an actual house sounded like heaven to me, especially since it had its own pool. Whatever though, it's not like I cared or anything.
Why don't we just rent a car and continue our trip?
You're right, we came all this way for a vacation. Let's worry about the stolen car with all our belongings later. And so that became the plan. Here's another list. Usually, to rent a car, you need these 2 things: a driver's license and a credit card. When I first found out about the requirements, I thought, that's it? I thought they would need way more than that. Well, you're just renting a car, not an apartment. It could be considered a good thing, though, since otherwise we wouldn't be able to continue our trip.
I left my credit card in the car.
You can't be serious.
Just when I thought I could fulfill my fish fantasy!
We couldn't believe our ears. Putting salt on the already ripped open wound, we found out that the closest car rental place was around 8 miles away. Our trip hadn't even started yet. We had no car, no money, no clothing, and no sanity! So, like you do when you have nothing else, you beg. We asked the lady at the motel's front desk if she could give Man a ride to the rental place and rent a car for us. She said no. I'm kidding. I would have cried. It would be maybe an hour or 2 before Thou Art Man would come back, so we went to eat at a local diner as we waited, especially since we hadn't eaten anything all day but tears! Entering this weirdly named diner, I was kind of disappointed that I didn't see anyone getting mauled by the employees, but I guess that only happens at Waffle House. We sat down, and a sweet old lady came over and handed us menus. I already knew what I was going to eat, so before she left, I asked for a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Would you like a bacon and egg with cheese?
I'm sorry?
Are you ordering a bacon and egg with cheese?
Huh? I think that was the first time I've ever felt culture shock. I have never in my life heard those words when referring to a bacon, egg, and cheese. I double-checked the menu to see if Bethany was wrong, but no! To prevent an unwanted scenario, I just ordered it and waited for it to arrive. I was so hung up on the name that I don't even remember what it tasted or sounded like. Nor looked like. When we left the diner, Woman Without the Woe was waiting for us outside the motel. After putting our stuff in the car, we said our thanks to the lady at the front desk and set off for Florida. We were still missing 90% of our stuff, so we stopped by good old Walmart to buy some clothes. The rest of our road trip went by mostly without a hitch. I say mostly because as I was taking yet another nap during a gas station pit stop, there was a guy trying to get into our car. My mother was also sleeping, but Twix noticed and woke us up as the guy fled the scene. Nothing happened, but we weren't a fan of these events that kept happening to us while on this trip. Regardless, we arrived. While there, nothing unfortunate happened, nor on our way back. Everything was perfectly fine, and I had a good time. It was just the way there that was cursed for whatever reason. Now, about our stuff. We did manage to get it back. What ended up happening was that the insurance of the car wasn't up to date, and it got towed in the middle of the night. Pretty anticlimactic, right?